There we go. How the fuck you doing, Francis?
Oh, we're here.
Yeah?
We're just chugging along. Love me some Christmas.
This is our season finale, days before Christmas. It's like when you get excited for a pay-per-view, like Christmas in a lot of ways is like a fucking pay-per-view. Always ending with, at least at my house, with some kind of big melee. Like the last several Christmases that I've had have ended with me and a couple family members knuckling up. So
God,
we're not attending family Christmas this year.
Christmas is your shit. I don't really care for it. So,
man, I understand a lot of people don't love Christmas, and I'll tell you, dude, there'll be times when I'll be, driving by the mall and you'll see Christmas lights and you'll see like fucking all the decorations, and I think to myself, I'm totally gonna blow my brains out when I get home. Like this is the year that it's fucking happening this year. You know what I mean? And then obviously it goes away, and I'm still here, and I decide to fucking plug along for another fucking year. You know what I mean?
No, my year fucking takes a dive right after Halloween.
I know. You and I both have a super stressful fall and winter because of our shoot jobs. It sucks because I if I could enjoy autumn, it would be awesome. You know what I mean? I know you kind of just fall off the radar.
Yeah, man, it's just fucking work. Like I said before we started recording, I just ran home. I actually just have like 2 eggs boiling that I'm just not gonna get to until after this. I think I ate a piece of pita bread before we started. I'm just like,
you can absolutely eat 2 hard-boiled eggs on air. I'm good with that. If
anybody's
got a problem with it, you can fuck off.
That's rude. I'm not going to do it to our guest because it is Christmas, and I don't want to upset this guest any further than we might. I don't know.
That's all good. I would like to do the intro really quick and then just dive into it because we've been trying to have this guest on it for a long time, and it's fucking our Christmas finale.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about spending Christmas with. Let's get to it. Let's just do your thing and then we'll unhatch this.
So to the guest in the green room, be careful because it's going to get loud really quick, okay? Because you guys know what time it is. It's Spooky Guys motherfucking podcast! You motherfuckers! Merry fucking Christmas, everyone!
That's aggressive, and you're going to hurt yourself one day.
I know. My neck actually hurts a little bit. Chris from Ruthless Pro wished that I would stroke out. He actually used one of his wishes. Like, we look at the same sky. If like he sees a fucking falling star, he used one of his wishes that I would stroke out while doing that. What the fuck, man?
Love you, Chris.
Love you, Chris. Okay. But our guest today, for sure, controversial figure in wrestling.
We seem to have that habit of ending out our year like this right now, huh?
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. We've been chasing this guest for a while. It was supposed to happen before, didn't happen. I'm so glad it's happening. I'm so glad that this is our Christmas episode because last year we were supposed to do a big Christmas episode and it didn't. It just kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this one is happening. So. Can I bring him in?
Let's bring him in because I'm like, is this really? This is our second episode before the end of the year where I was like, is this really happening? And because we talked to him before we started recording. He's chilling in the green room right now, festive as fuck.
Super nice guy. I was a little caught off guard by that. I don't know what I expected.
We've heard nothing but terrible things about him from fucking Judge Joe Dredd. All right.
Judge Joe Dredd repeatedly on air and off air said this man is a crackhead, this man is a derelict, this man is a scumbag.
But I mean Judge Joe Dredd's straight edge, so he's has an opinion.
Here he is. Oh, fucking dirty fucking Ron McDonald.
I'm doing my own spooky dust over here, God damn it. 'Twas a couple nights before Christmas, and all through the house, David's mom was looking fine, so my face was in her blouse.
And he's officially the second guest to do coke on our show.
All your all your stockings were hung by the chimney with care, and I'm here to fuck it up. The clown with red hair. What's going on, motherfuckers?
Ron, thank you for taking time out of your day, out of your busy ass drug doing schedule to come and fucking hang out with us. I really appreciate it. Yeah. I was going to tell you, feel free to smoke dope on our show because everybody does and it's allowed. I'm
You're
about to
not my
start
mother,
too.
David, I'm not listening to you.
All right.
Rock star for the cock star right now.
So Ron, I want to get into this, okay? I've been following your career.
I dressed up like this for you guys. I got a fucking stocking cap on. There's some present. You guys send me some fucking care package or some shit. I'm not gonna open it yet. You know, I want to ruin the big surprise or you know whatever you guys got in there for me.
I really appreciate that. No, Ron, it's Christmas time. It means a lot to us. I'm glad that our care package. I'm glad the stocking got to you in time. I'm so excited that you're here. Francis, can I just bulldoze right into the shit?
Let's do, because there's definitely a lot here that I do want to get into, right? Because Ron, I mean, yeah, he busted onto the
mom. I was all up in that.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. All right.
2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on my sesame seed buns. Hey, can I show my sesame seed buns on here?
Oh no, don't run.
We don't want to get kicked off YouTube, right? Like, all right,
no, we don't really give a fuck about that. That's okay.
We had someone
back with cheese right here. Goddamn.
No, you would be the second person to show us their dick. So there's
second person to do hard drugs. Second person to show us your dick. You know. I know.
I ain't no hack piece of shit. I'll show you the fruit basket, and I'll tuck it in, and I'll show you from.
No, don't run! Don't.
Okay. Sorry. Let's take some questions from the DC sniper. Francis, go for it.
Yes. God damn. Okay.
I'm repping my boy Chris Benoit's band. Their band Chris Benoit. Fucking Dave's over here looking like Toothless Aggression. We got this whole shit fucking packing right now. Let's do this shit.
I fucking love it. I fucking love it so much. Ron, serious. I really want to talk about this. Since we started following your career, I swear to God, I've never seen somebody have so many ups and downs. You are on fucking fire. You know, you have fucking personal shit going on. You're back on fucking fire again. You're just up, down, but you're always there. Which consistent. I gotta tell you, I respect the hell out of it, dude. You know what I mean?
Thank you. You know, I'm up and down like a fucking lot lizard at a fucking truck stop. You know, they're up and down like that. My stock is rising up and down. Hey, man, you know, here's the thing. Shit happens in life, but you're not tested by, you know, how many times you get knocked down and what the fucking shit goes on. You're tested by how you fucking bounce back. And, you know, I tell you what, you know, in all seriousness, man, this fucking last year has been atrocious for me in my personal life. And I'm really in my personal life for the last 3 years since that movie that I did with Effie and Rob Van Dam didn't go through. You know, It's been kind of a fucking downward spiral for me, financially, personal level, you know, all that kind of shit. You know, I'm divorced now. Says good, it's great. You know, for anybody that's said, you know, like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Don't be. You didn't know her like that. But, you know, it's been a tough year, but you know what? I'm finally through a lot of that shit. You know, I'm back popping with XPW. I've got 2 to 3 weekends every month booked for the year 2024. So I'm already shit. We're popping off. I found out some XPW dates all the way through fucking July. So, you know, like XPW's alive and well. You know, Dirty Ron's alive and well. And I tell you what, I'm getting back into fucking top shape that, you know, I was where I was, you know, a number of years ago. You know, right when I first started with XPW, that's April 2022. You know, personal shit really started getting at me. So it was really tough to, you know, stay in the gym, stay focused and shit like that. You know, I had a marriage I was trying to work on. I had a venue I was trying to work on. And, It's a testament to, Rob Black and Schlack for having that fucking faith in me, for giving me the opportunities that they have. And you know what? Dirty Ron back like he never left. Call me herpes, motherfucker. You're going to see me again and again for the rest of your life.
I do want to say something before you did touch on something that I did want to bring up. You came back, and I either want to say it was California 2 or Pleasures of the Flesh, and you were like in great shape. Fucking
yeah. When
jacked.
you came back, it was like you didn't miss a single beat. But also the funny thing is, like, Francis and I, our little wrestling group, we were talking about it, and we were just like, Ron will be back, and when Ron does come back, he's going to be back with XPW, and we kind of called it from a distance. And when you came out, it was sort of a shocking moment. But then it was, I mean, your performance was so strong. Anybody that wanted to hate on you couldn't, because you did the personal work, and then you did the professional work. You came back in real good shape. You came back, had a strong fucking match. It was just undeniable. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Mentally, so, sometimes, honestly, I blur the line between who Mikey Gordon and who Dirty Ron McDonald is. So we might jump around a little bit like that throughout this interview.
Oh, good.
I think that I am Dirty Ron McDonald. Like not that I'm so disillusioned that I think I'm a real life wrestling character 24/7, but a lot of what Dirty Ron is takes chances. A little outspoken, passionate, as some people call it. Other people call it emotionally unstable. But when I was able to come back in February, I don't know if I was mentally ready to come back. I don't know if I've been mentally ready to come back all year until really, really recently here in the last few weeks, honestly. But
it's almost like you kind of got to pull the Band-Aid off. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. And, truth be told, as the water settled here in the last year since all that shit kind of went down, it's really come to light who knows me in any capacity and who doesn't know me at fucking all. And the couple handfuls of people, in the industry that really know me for real, I already knew what was going on behind closed doors.
Right.
They knew that, because I mean, like, let's just put it out there. When you hear the term domestic violence, I don't care who you're talking about. You hear domestic violence, immediately 99.9% of the world thinks some dude beating the shit out of some defenseless woman. And as I go through my anger management classes, and as I voluntarily go to AA once a week now, I'm able to like really learn and really put some perspective on it, and learn from these things, because we have a lot of choices. When you have a reaction, you're choosing that reaction, whether you want to admit that or not. So the way to overcome adversity is to reprogram your brain. And, that's what doing these classes and staying sober for the first 100+ days of the year, completely sober, was something that, I wanted to do for myself. It wasn't court ordered, wasn't anything like that. It's something I want to do for myself because, hey, man, the people that know me well. I try to be a very self-aware person. I try to really step back and look at solutions. It's if you guys think that I bounced back pretty well this year, it's because of shit like that. If you thought I bounced back this year, just wait till you fucking see 2024, brother.
Ron, you know what? This is just like a side note, before we start going like completely in the other direction. But with our group, there's like 4 of us. We talk wrestling and behind the scenes shit all the time and shit. And I talked to you on the phone, and I went to the group and I was like, yo, I just got off the phone with Dirty Ron. And everyone was like, oh shit, I wonder what that was all like. And I was like, honestly, he was really kind of chill. He was like running errands and just like really relaxed and just really like, you caught me off guard because there was the real person behind the character. It made me realize like, fuck, this is a real guy, man.
There was a thing that you just said, right? You said 100 days sober.
More than 100 days sober to start the year off. Yeah. The last drink I had for the beginning of the year was December 31st, and I was completely sober of drugs and alcohol. I'm on probation right now, so I don't want to fucking rat myself out. But that's not something that was court ordered. Something I chose to do myself. And being sober of alcohol really makes it easy to not want to do cocaine. So bad habits.
Yeah. Francis, are we gonna just take it back to the start? Is it cool if I do it?
Yeah.
Well, so Ron, we usually start asking people, questions about, when they got into wrestling, and I really do want to know about when you first discovered pro wrestling, like what brought you into it, because you and I are roughly around the same age, I believe.
Yeah, I'm 75. Don't I look great for 75?
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
I couldn't tell.
Looking good, man.
Yeah.
But I'm actually a little bit curious of what was Dirty Ron like as a teenager. You know what I mean? Because those are your formative years. Like 14 roughly is the year when people start figuring out like who you are at 14. That's who you're going to be when you're a grown up. So what the fuck were you doing when you were 14, 15?
I was telling everybody to suck it in 7th and 8th grade. Watching, going back and forth, getting in trouble for. I remember very vividly the night that Rick Rude showed up on Monday Night Raw and Nitro. I was like, I was in 7th grade. I was like, holy shit. My mom was like, Michael, don't be saying that. And my mom was very, very Jewish. Now, Michael Patrick, don't be saying that. And I was like, Mom, you don't understand. Rick Rude is on Monday Night Raw and Nitro on the same night.
They didn't give a fuck about Rick Rude. She should have, though. That's a big deal. She should have.
Well, also to answer your question, how I got into wrestling, my mom was a pro wrestler. She had less than like 50 matches in the St. Louis independent scene, in the late 70s before I was hatched.
Really?
Yeah. Well, and she did this shit too. She was like, Michael, I used to get some of the wrestlers grass and whatever else they used to call the pot back in the day, right? But she was like, Michael, I never had sex with any of these wrestlers. I was always hanging out with them, but I never had sex with them. And I was like, is my mom trying to tell me that she sucked all their dicks?
The more she says, exactly what's going on.
And then, and I hear this more and more. And she's like, Michael, I never had sex with them. And I'm like, Mom, why are you telling me this shit? I'm 8 years old. So, I get a lot of who I am from Mama Shay.
Did Mom ever brother you? We get brothered now because we're in industry.
No. No, it would be really weird if my mother brothered me, but my mother did give me a brother. So I guess, I don't know, maybe she brothered me in a different sense in making it a word or a verb. She brothered me up.
So did you take to pro wrestling? Did you know, like when you were like, 14, 15, did you know that you wanted to go and be trained up?
Oh my God. Yeah. Like we were doing backyard wrestling. I started with Matt Seidel and I both would call into this local St. Louis wrestling show when we were 16. Okay. There was actually 3 different territories backyard territories in St. Louis. There was the one, he was in West County with all the other Jews. I was in White Trash, South County. And then our boy, Adam Raw, had his little thing like further south of South County. So and this is like 1999 or some shit, right? So we didn't really know, you didn't really see shit on the internet. The first video I ever saw online was Matt Seidel doing a fucking shooting star press off a backboard at the YMCA that his mom ran. So like seriously, it took an hour and a half to download this 10-second video. So I'm slowly starting to find out that there's, through message boards and shit, that there's other people. But we all called into this radio show called The Stranglehold, hosted by Brian Stull, and we all found out because we'd all talk shit during like the trivia question contest. Like, this is Pondula from WRW calling into The Stranglehold. My answer for tonight's question is this or that, and fucking. WCWF can kiss our ass, kiss our butts, or whatever we're allowed to say on the radio. And then we would all we all met each other through local independent shows and all started wrestling together. And out of our class of like 12 motherfuckers, me, Delirious, Matt Seidel, Daisy Hayes was in that, Mischief was in that. Out of like 12 of us, I think like more than half of us are still active. Well, 23 years later. So
I'm sorry, I'm a total mark for women's wrestling. You were in the same class as Daisy Hayes and Mischief?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. And I wanted to mark out for Matt Seidel.
Yeah.
Love Matt Seidel.
Fuck Matt. No,
wow, man.
Nice.
We just talked about this a couple episodes ago. So you're obviously downloading would this be LimeWire or Kazaa?
What's that? The video?
Yeah.
LimeWire or some shit. Yeah.
Loved downloading on LimeWire. Oh my god, I pirated so much. I still to this day,
You still
am
do.
a hardcore pirate.
Yeah. You
Oh
still do.
hell yeah! Are you serious?
Yeah, man.
Hey, do you know what a favorite? Do you know what a pirate's favorite letter is?
R.
People think it's R, but it's the C. So stupid jokes.
You got him. Oh well, so that actually is good because that brings me into the next thing about the comedy. Because when you were when the wrestling thing started slowing down, you really kind of started amping it up with like the comedy. And there was the with you coming to Detroit. You ended up. Did you ended up picking up because you were supposed to wrestle for a company?
What city was
ended
that?
up falling through.
What city? I didn't hear what you said. My bad.
Oh, it was Detroit. You were supposed to come to Detroit.
No. What was it? I didn't hear. I don't know this city.
I want to talk about that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, so tell me about comedy. When did that get started for you?
So Afro Man because I got hot.
Of course I do.
Yeah. So from 2011 to 2013, I was his opening act and tour manager for a lot of his shows.
Fuck.
Are you kidding me?
Dude, I love everything about that guy. He's hilarious to me.
That beer bottle is from my band, the Beachville Alcoholics. I actually got two of them. We were like Tenacious D. We did comedy rock songs and shit. So we're doing like, me and my cousin were touring the country, like fucking singing all this shit. And then when him and I broke up, when we were done touring with Fro, I was like, well, let me keep another. I love working hard not to have a real job. I haven't clocked in anywhere in over a decade. So, I was like, hey,
fuck yeah, man,
let's try this stand-up shit, So, and there's a lot of similarities between stand-up comedy and professional wrestling. First of all, we're one-on-one. It's us and the audience. It's whatever we come up with in our head. In pro wrestling, we're mostly naked. In comedy, we're emotionally naked. So, you got to figure out, you got to read the audience and really understand. Like I did, with wrestling, I did a birthday party on Saturday with 50 people, a lot of Mexicans, probably illegal, who knows? But then I do like, some like state fairs, or I do XPW. And like, it might all sound to somebody like, oh, you're just wrestling a bunch of different places. Yeah, but I got to cater my show. I got to cater what I do as a performance to the people that are there, because it's not up to me what I want to do. It's up to what does that audience expect from me as a performer. And I learned a lot of that through stand-up comedy, because sometimes if I go to like St. Louis, or if I go to Vegas, or if I go where I have a little bit of a draw that people are going to come see me, you know what I'm saying? Then they kind of know what to expect. But if I'm doing like a 10-minute spot on a comedy club show, I can't really go as hard as I generally would, because those people just came to see a comedy show. They didn't come to see a raunchy comedy show.
Right.
So learning how to address different audiences, is something that I'll learn a lot in comedy. I started that about 9 years ago now. I did 16 states in 2016. I booked myself. I have one comedy album that I did in 2019. I filmed another one in April that I didn't end up putting out. So, it's gaining another skill that's going to help me not have to clock in anywhere.
I understand, man. Comedy. So when a band plays a song, generally people are going to clap,
Yeah.
Even when it's the worst thing in the world, generally people are going to clap and appreciate it. With comedy, sometimes people won't laugh and fucking, they won't applaud and stuff. It's one of the more scary things, Have you ever? I'm sure you know this, but because you get hated on when you're wrestling, you get booed. But being booed while you're on stage doing comedy or as a performer, boy, that's jarring. Right. I've had that. I've had audiences turn on me before and fucking even try and rush the stage and just been like, you need to die.
Let me tell you the best boo off the story stage. So 2014, actually 2015, I'm still working with Hood Slam up in San Francisco, Oakland, whatever. And I was like, hey, I'm booking Rob Van Dam for these comedy shows. This when RVD and I first started working together. And I was like, hey, we should do a show one of these nights, let's do half comedy and half wrestling. at the Oakland Metro Opera House, right?
Okay.
So, Sheik was like, hey, it's a good idea or whatever he's going by these days. I don't know his fucking name anymore. But Dark Sheik is what he used to call himself, or I don't know. I don't know the right pronouns, but the person that runs Hood Slam has always been the same person that runs Hood Slam. And that person was like, yeah, okay, let's book RVD. And I did comedy that night. My ex-wife did comedy that night. So, we went and they were like, all right, first half of the show is stand-up comedy, and second half we'll do wrestling. And on the poster, they put all their guys big on the poster, and they put RVD like real small, and they're like, also Rob Van Dam. And I was like, well, I don't know if that's a good idea. I might want to put him like front and center. You know what I'm saying? Like RVD coming out to Oakland. Let's do this. So anyway, my ex-wife goes on stage. They boo her off the stage in 5 minutes. I fucking go on stage. They boo me off there throwing shit. Boo me off the stage in 5 minutes. And I'm like, man, that sucks that they did that to us. There's no way they're going to do that to RVD. Not even 5 minutes he's up there, same ass shit. They're like, get the fuck off the stage. Like, you fucking suck. And I'm like, this is the most disrespectful crowd I've ever been in front of, right? But, and there were like fucking 400 or 500 people there or some shit. And the deal we had that night was taking half the door or whatever. And like after the show, I was because it was a good amount of money. And then after the show, I was just like, are we still gonna get paid? And then they paid us all the money that they owed us. I was like, what was up with that? And they're like, oh, we knew that was gonna happen. Hood Slam people come here to see Hood Slam, and they just want to fucking like boo everybody else. I was like, okay, well, all right, whatever. Like, all right,
well, you could have gave me a fucking heads up before I went out there.
And they wanted, like, that was the thing, man. Dark Sheik's a little fucked up in the head, if anybody had that assumption before, maybe it's true. But no, he just wanted to see us fucking flounder up there, and that was part of his little fucking power trip. That he didn't want to, he didn't want to put RVD big on the poster. He didn't want to really put him on the poster at all. He didn't want to put I told them to have one of their guys go up and be like, hey, guys, because at every comedy show, it's the same shit. It's like, hey, put away your phones. Hey, be respectful of comedians. You've got something to say it outside. Keep your table talk to a minimum, all that shit. But there was no tables. Everybody was standing. Everybody was smoking weed in this motherfucker. Like, okay. Nobody gave a shit. Like, they were just fucking rowdy as fuck. It was quite the experience. But, again, a little jarring.
Man, I've had people throw chairs at me, try and fight me on stage more than one time. Just people, when you're performing and you're doing something that's a little bit edgy, you just got to be prepared for everything. Either they're going to love you or they're going to hate you, and you got to be ready for everything to go completely tits up. Oh,
no doubt. My favorite is when somebody tries to like rush into the ring or some shit like that, because it's like, oh man, like, boy, did you make a bad mistake,
I never understood that.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, man, like how stupid can you be? Like, first of all, like you got to get into the ring. Like, what are these guys thinking? That I'm going to just let you get in the ring? This ain't a match, brother. Like, I'm not going to let you get in the ring. You got to like step up and through the ropes. Like, come on, man.
I don't think it's ever really a thought out thing. I think they're just like, I'm going to get in the ring, but they never consider what's going to happen afterwards. I'm going to get in the ring and ... probably get the living shit kicked out of me. You know what I mean?
Hey, man.
Hey,
it's fun.
That's why you don't stick your arms in the fucking cages at the zoo. The zoo animals are going to fucking bite you, dude.
100%. I'm like, a bunch of these guys, these days couldn't defend themselves in a fucking bag of chips, but
every once in a while I get way too blown out and I start going off to my wife, and she humors me because she loves me, but I start talking about the old days of wrestling when the wrestlers were all football players that are just all fucking, like I've been watching old Survivor series because it's November and that's what you do. You watch the Survivor series on Thanksgiving. And all of those wrestlers are all so gassed up. And like, look at Greg the Hammer Valentine, like 1988. He's so roided up and just like, no neck. You know what I mean? Like, big, beefy, meaty dudes.
Big, meaty dudes slapping meat.
That's what Dave's here for.
Again, I don't know what it is. Like the men rolling around on the ground with each other in their underwear has been a constant for my whole life. I'm not sure. Maybe I need to talk to somebody in the new year.
Well, that's what I tell people too. I'm like, if you don't know what professional wrestling is, let me school you up real quick. I touch other sweaty men in our fancy underwear, and people pay to watch it.
And people pay to watch it.
And I'm not gay. That's what I tell my therapist, and she doesn't believe me either.
Lots of people will crowd into the seediest bars just to watch it happen.
Yeah, for sure. Just kidding. I don't have a therapist. So you're absolutely right. It's the weirdest shit. It's a bunch of dudes watching dudes in their underwear getting all sweaty and shit. And we're like, oh yeah, this is totally heterosexual. Right when I met my ex-wife, she was like, we were watching wrestling together, and she was like, this is the gayest shit I've ever seen. Like, look at all these sweaty dudes and all this fucking patent leather, all tight and shit, and fucking everything's all slicked back, and they got baby oil all over each other. I go, I didn't really ever think about it like that, And she was like, well, it seems really gay. And I was like, you know what? I guess if I was gay, like, I'd love wrestling. Like, damn.
Ron, I've told this on the air before, but it probably like 20 episodes ago, so I'm going to tell this again.
Judge Joe Dredd is a punk ass bitch. All right, what else? Go on.
I've been in the film. I've filmed pro wrestling a handful of times now, and there is, when you're a camera person, there is nothing that you can do. At some point, you're going to be filming the back of some dude's balls, and no matter where you're standing, you're gonna be like, I edit my film, and I'm just like, my God, I was filming the back of some dude's balls for like 45 minutes. Like, there's no way around it. So if you like wrestling and you like filming wrestling, that could be a job for you.
Yeah, man, balls, baby.
Yeah, especially from the back too, like the most artistic view. Right.
And, it's the worst porn view, but I guess it's a good wrestling view if that's what you're saying. The worst view in porn.
Ron, when you first got into wrestling, who'd you look up to? Who made
everybody,
you?
Because I was a small guy. I was looking up. I was like, hey, everybody up there. It's when they were tall.
I mean, honest to God, I know, and this might be like a dumb thing to say, but I know you didn't like come into wrestling and just be like, I want to do the clown gimmick. Like, no. I mean, were you like, did you like look up to like Harley Race, or were you like, oh, Ric Flair, he's the guy, or
I've done extensive like interviews and like just conversations with Sabu, and one thing that his uncle told him, and that he told me a bunch is, just take your 3 favorite wrestlers and make yourself a combination of those. So like I see, it's hard for me to like really take 3 and because I know there's Macho Man's in there like heavily.
I could absolutely see that.
Sabu's in there, especially like my earlier on stuff. I jump around shit a little bit more. And it's hard for me to say who my third one is because there's so many influential wrestlers that I can be like, well, I took a little bit of this or I took a little bit of that. Like I guess I get honestly Paul Heyman for real, and only because like I try to look at running wrestling differently. My shows in San Diego were very popular, still are. Very soon after I started each one of my venues, they would start selling out, almost immediately. And the place that I run right now sells out every 6 weeks because the 3 most important questions that I ask at every show: number 1, who's been to one of my shows before? Number 2, who's never been to a wrestling show before? That gets a humongous pop. And number 3, the most important question: who's coming back? That's because, you look at my posters. My posters for shows say live pro wrestling at the top. They have a cartoon picture of a luchador. It says get drunk and heckle. Bar specials all night long. And then the address and the date. What's missing from every other poster on there? Why don't I have a bunch of skinny ass little fucking gas station attendants who work at Quick Trip all week acting like, why aren't I on the poster? I could draw people. Oh, fuck, I can't draw shit. And this is the truth. Wrestling draws, okay? It's like if anybody's going to an independent wrestling show, they're going because it's wrestling or they're supporting a friend, okay? If this is all friends and family, then the people that run in that aren't running a business. They might be running a school and they run shows so their students can get a place to wrestle. But almost no promoters out there look at this like a business. And fill in the blank wherever you want to. I'm talking from AEW all the way down the fucking list. Every promoter is a mark, and here's why. They don't give a shit about getting new fans. How is AEW acquiring new fans? Okay. How is now AEW at the top of the fucking list of revenue of the companies that I'm talking about? Now list every other independent promotion out there right now. Okay. If they ask those same three questions at their shows, they get completely different answers. Who's been to one of my shows before? Everybody. Yeah. Who's never been to a wrestling show before? Crickets, motherfucker. Okay. And the only way that anybody's business or the business is going to survive is by getting new fans. Look at ICW. You know, look at fucking every fucking goddamn promotion out there. You know, look at Horror Slam. Are they trying to get new people to come out of their fucking shit? None of them are. No promotions down in Florida or fucking St. Louis. None of these people. They're trying to shuffle the same people that watch wrestling every goddamn week to come out to their little fucking drink-eating show with a bunch of Quick Trip gas station attendants dressing up and playing wrestler like they want to do once a month. You know, if you want your business to survive, which is why I die like a motherfucker over and over and over and rise like a fucking phoenix from the ashes. You know why? Because I know how to run a business. I ain't sucking my own dick. I put on 45 live shows in 2021. I put on over 30 live shows last year, and I was out of the game for the last 2 months out of the year. Do the math. You know what I'm saying? Why is that? And every single one of those shows profited. You know why? Because I give a shit about being new fans in all the time. Okay. Why did I sell a bunch of t-shirts? Because I'm trying to get new motherfuckers to buy my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, no, I absolutely.
And your eyes on this shit.
And you're talking about Fist Combat, right? That's your promotion.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't even. Here's something you didn't notice of what I said that's not on my posters. I don't even put Fist Combat on there. I don't even call my shit Fist Combat. Like, sure, it's called that, but like, you don't see that on the poster. You don't see that at the live event. You know why? Because nobody fucking cares. You know,
we've been talking about it all this time, and you didn't even drop it.
Yeah.
So huge.
What's that?
No, I was just saying the whole time we were talking about it, you didn't even say the name. So I mean, you're absolutely.
You know why? Because nobody fucking cares. Do you know who cares? The mark ass promoters that are marks. And I hate even saying that I hate even saying that term, but I'm saying it because it's look at it. Who is a mark? A mark is somebody that you're trying to fool into thinking that this thing is bigger, better, more real, or whatever than it actually is. And those are the same people that are fucking sucked into the system that go, I want to run a wrestling show. I'll just fantasy book all my friends or people that I want to see, and I get to play with my little toys out of my toy box, once a month or whatever the fuck it is, and like, what's the business model? Ain't nobody out here making profiting fucking hand over fist. I'm not trying to suck my own dick, but man, I just feel like none of these promoters out here even fucking get understand business or even give a shit,
Yeah. Wow.
I don't even know what started me on that rant, but there's
well, so again, with so many other things, whether it's comedy or wrestling or doing video or some of the stuff that I do, Francis and I were talking about this a while ago. I've always I draw, I make comics, but I looked at it now, comic books, and I was like, I can do that. I think I want to try that, So you saw people that were booking wrestling shows, and you said, you know what? I want to get involved in that. I want to try that. When you first booked your first show, what was that like?
That was an accident. So. When I was 22, I first started first of all, let me back up. I got my real estate license when I was 20 years old. So I was selling people houses before I could legally drink.
You've done so much shit. Oh, is that little kitty? I'm sorry, Ron. Hold on 1 second. Look at that. We got a kitty on camera.
Oh, check out the pussy. Pussy finally showed up.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, Ron, sorry about that.
I'm good. So
again, you've done so much shit, man. My God.
I've failed a lot of different ways, but see, I look at when I take an L, I look at it as a lesson, not a loss, and that way you can always move forward. But getting back to what's up, so I ran this company called Box Toppers, where I sold pizza menus to the pizza companies. I printed them for them, so I print them like 4,000 a month. I give them 2,000 to put on their boxes, and I put out the other 2,000 that they'd pay me to do out in their fucking delivery area, and I'd sell advertisement on the back. So came down to it that this guy I knew that and was the guy to give me my first tape of independent wrestling because my mom cleaned his teeth. She was a dental hygienist. Anyway, this guy was like, yo, I'm putting on shows. Can I advertise with you? And I was like, well, how about you don't spend any money? How about I'll invest in it and I'll help you run it, right? And after like 3 shows, this dude ran out of money. So I was like, oh, fucking, hey, this is fun. I'm running my own company 6 days out of the week, once or twice a month. Let's run these little wrestling shows. It'll be fun. I was 23 years old. And it was after the first time that I quit wrestling. So I was back in it. I was running a couple shows, and it wasn't for a long time that I looked at it as anything that could ever really make any money because I was just having fun doing them. It was it was a side project that was, it didn't make money. It didn't make a lot of money, but it didn't lose any money, and I had fun doing it. So, it wasn't until I moved out to the West Coast I really started looking at in 2014. Started looking at it like, hey, if I work this like I worked Afro Man shows and really looked at this like make a business plan and make goals. When I went to school, I went to school for business. So I did learn a lot of the business 101. How to structure, how to make, a 5-year plan, all that shit, mission statements, all that bullshit. So, that's kind of what I did with Fist Combat. That's kind of what I did with the Obi Wrestle House. And, things just didn't work out the way that I wanted to. But like I said, if you take your L's as lessons and not losses, you can learn from it and fucking move forward. So,
Ron, you're so, I mean this as a compliment. I expected you just to be like, just a dirty, rotten clown, and you're so well spoken and intelligent, and you're really catching me off guard. I
suck a dick, David.
There you go. That's what he needed. He needed to hear that.
Shut the fuck up. You want me to fucking turn this shit back the fuck up? Okay. No. How many bottle caps do you snap with that fucking smile you got going on and get yourself looking like a goddamn?
Oh man, come on.
Hey, listen. I'm gonna cut you back down to size, asshole. How many times do you have to come into your hand to get your hair as stiff as a fucking sock? The hell's going on in this motherfucker? Don't ever compliment me like that. I'm a dirty clown piece of shit. Trash. Read the internet and listen to the Rob Black show.
Francis, we're a tag team. You're supposed to help me out at some point, man. You're a shitty tag team partner.
I'm just saying. I was answering this. He asked you how many times. I said 6, right? 6. It was 5 or 6.
Yeah. It's 7.
7. Okay, I was close.
You guys are both wrong. So fuck off.
No, honestly, I'm waiting to get smacked in the mouth so hard that I lose a tooth because I think it's a fucking badge of honor, man. There's got to be a good story behind it, right? Did you get an elbow to the mouth?
No. I had my adult teeth in 5th grade, and I was playing on the ice, and I got bumped from behind, and I did a Ric Flair face plant right into the ground, and my teeth were fine. But then I got to be about 30. And my front 3 started wiggling around, and I went to the dentist, and they're just like, "Oh, they're cracked, like up in the gum line." So I got 2 implants, and I'm actually getting I don't want to show it up close. I went today to get it fitted. Yeah. I'm getting another implant right here. So, and it's going to be a silver one too.
No shit, that's dope. That's fucking dope.
Or at the very least, a silver cap on it.
That's what's up.
I know my dad would be so ashamed of that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your dad ain't cool then.
In doing everything that you do, Rod, you still found time to train, right? Because you train wrestlers.
Yeah,
I did for a little bit. Yeah, that was never the plan. There was a void in the marketplace, and it was during the pandemic, and I was partnered up with somebody who's very well versed and has trained all different types of styles. His name Ryan Kidd. He's a West Coast kid. San Diego, real solid talent. Trained extensively in Japan and Mexico. Also went over to England for a number of months. So, the dude, young kid. And, I think I had something to offer, obviously I'm not the most technical wrestler in the world, but, I think wrestling's the best form of entertainment. So, there's, besides just being an athlete and learning all the styles, I mean, there's so much, because as wrestlers, we're doing drama, comedy, improv, stunts, all in one take with an audience 360 degrees around us. There's so much more than being an athlete. So I did train wrestlers I hope I know where you're going with this too, Francois.
No, it was just something I had. It's I see no, because there's a lot more I still want to talk about before that. But
Shoot.
I mean, just Francis, unless you want to just keep rolling, because I'm just gonna keep blabbing.
oh no,
I'm
because you did was like deathmatch and indie wrestling like what something that you wanted to do from the beginning? Because you made an appearance on Raw, right? That picture or that clip made its way online earlier, like a couple weeks ago. You posted it. Was that something that was like that you wanted in your future? Was that like, how was that, and like what happened with?
So I got inspired to do backyard wrestling, watching the FMW tapes and exploding barbed wire and Hayabusa and
Yeah, dude.
all that shit. So I saw it as something that was I liked the stuntman aspect of it, and when the first time I quit wrestling is when I was going on the road with Seidel and Delirious almost every weekend, and then Delirious moved to Philly and Seidel moved to Kentucky for WWE. So I was like, where do I fit? Like I'm the third best out of these three by far, and these guys are way more athletic than me, and that's why I kind of quit, because I didn't see much for myself as like trying to compete in the same class as those guys. I saw, and as I'm sure you can see in my in-ring prowess now, I rely heavily on shit talking. But selling's a big aspect, showing pain, as I started weight training more in my 20s and all throughout my 30s, the power aspect has been able to come into my game a little bit, but, deathmatch is kind of where I started because of the stunt aspect and the wow. And I noticed real early on, I had a very high pain tolerance. So, these were things that I was like, I could stand out easier doing this than trying to be Matt Seidel or Too Cold Scorpio, some shit, Okay. I could stand out a lot easier doing Sabu type shit than trying to be the 575th best Rob Van Dam.
Oh, wow. When you did your first, death match, was it tubes that you took? Well, was it barbed wire? I mean, did it freak you out seeing your own blood? Some people get real jarred by it.
No, the only time it ever freaked me out was at California 2. And it didn't even freak me out at first. Like, here's a candid ass story. So,
yeah.
It's me and Drake. I showed up. I didn't show up till 4:15 because I thought it started at 7 and it started at 5. Nobody fucking told me. So I find out at 3:45 that I'm wrestling Drake Younger, second match at 5 in an hour and 15 minutes. And I'm still half an hour away. So I'm like, oh shit, like, oh man, whatever. So we half-assed throw this match together because I don't know if you remember, he had 4 matches that night. Mm-hmm. It was me, Eric, Ryan, the 4-way, and then Schlack. So it was like, where do you think he's going to put all of his attention to? Yeah. Not me. No. And nothing against Drake. I mean, out of the 4 matches, of course, this one's happening real quick. I didn't show up till 4:15. Anyway, so match is happening, whatever. I look down at my hand and it's black. Like it's covered in black. Like I guess it's blood or some liquid or some shit. And I wipe it off and then it fucking fills up again real quick. My whole hand's like fucking covered. I'm like, what's going on here? And then like Drake was like, "Oh shit, you're cut really good, brother. Like we're gonna make sure we're gonna finish this match or whatever." And then the referee saw it and like she started like she was like, "Oh shit," and I was like, "What?" Like then I start freaking out because like I guess I hit like this vein. There's a vein right here, right, and the smallest little puncture, little glass, I guess, punctured the fucking vein, and this shit is just like. Blood, like I guess it was more blue than black, or whatever.
Oh, but that's not good though. That's bad.
Yeah.
That's very bad.
It's horrible. Yeah, it was just coming out too quickly. But it was this tiny little hole, and I didn't even know what the fuck was going on because I didn't hurt. I wasn't hurting.
Yeah.
I was looking down, and they were freaking out. So I was like, oh, I guess let's finish this shit. But that was the only time, and I didn't even freak out. I saw that, like, there was a couple times where like I got this fucking gash right here.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, there it is.
There. So that one, every once in a while, when I'll catch that, because that's right on the vein up there too, it'll gush. But I don't like doing that shit. Like it's scary when you're out there because you're like, Like the first time that I opened that, it fucking bled for like 3 hours.
Oh no.
And I kept having to fucking put bandanas and shit on it. It was crazy.
Ugh. Francis, so we're getting closer to the end of the show. Do you want to keep going with anything real
Well,
quick?
no, I definitely want to talk about Detroit. Right?
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
something that we can talk about.
Okay.
No, hey, you ain't gotta keep this doing out like fucking. Hey, let's rock and roll till you.
We usually go like a hour 15, and I got one other thing I want to tell you, but I definitely want to do the end segment with you, and I can't wait for you to fucking open up the stocking. That's what I'm really excited about. All right, Francis, go right ahead.
But theater brutality, right?
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that? How that came about? What happened with Detroit? Because we're from Detroit. It would have been
Right.
our first XPW show.
For sure.
And a couple of us were excited about it, and
Yeah,
then just kind of.
Dude,
I don't want to shit pile on anything, you know what I mean? But I
all
am
of
a
us
little
were
bit
excited about it.
Yeah.
All of us were excited. There was here's what happened. I was afforded the ability by Rob Black to book these shows top to bottom, finance them, all that, and call them XPW Theater Brutalities. And they were going to air on streamxpw.com. I booked Detroit with the help of a local promoter, and that promoter is kind of new to the game. And what I do, like I was saying earlier about the Afro Man shit and the fucking, booking my own comedy tour and shit. Like I probably, I booked and produced over 3,000 events over the last 20 years, all over the country. And, in a new market and in untested waters, okay, which me running a show in Detroit is untested. The XPW brand is untested in that market.
That is true.
There's a lot of factors. So the local promoter and I put together a list of bands that were going to help promote the show by help selling tickets. They weren't required to do that, but it was heavily suggested. And then we were it was like, you guys are booked because you guys can sell 20 to 30 tickets each. So there were some expectations there. So I wanted to put some goals on the whole thing. Like, if we don't reach this by this time, or we don't reach this by this time, then let's look at postponing or canceling the show, because sometimes that's what happens. If you ever see a show get announced and then canceled on a tour of some big nationally touring, globally touring artist, is because they weren't selling tickets, or because there was something fucked up with the venue, or a number of reasons. Somebody got sick, whatever the fuck. So, I wanted to make that call early on, and that wasn't a call that was agreed upon by both of us. And a couple weeks out, I looked at the numbers and I was like, okay, here's a number of things that are happening right now. Our main event isn't able to happen because of extenuating circumstances. Outside of Masada and DBA being the main event of that show, you had me and JJ Escobar, and everybody else on the show has pretty much never wrestled under the XPW brand. So I was like, hey, let's look at postponing this. Let's look at this. And the local promoter was basically like, oh, we can't do that. We can't postpone the show. We can't, I put so much work into it. And he was trying to find a couple vendors. We only had one vendor ready to go, maybe two. Not totally sure. But, the tickets weren't selling that well either. But all those factors put in 2 weeks beforehand, and plus the Chicago shows just didn't go that well either. I was like, hey, let's look at postponing this thing. There's already a deposit on the venue. The venue already said that they'd let us move the date, no problem. I didn't want to alarm any of the wrestlers, so I didn't hit nobody up about that. But then a couple hours later, that local promoter took it upon himself to put a video out on the internet saying, I'm pulling myself from the events. And I was like, first of all, who the fuck are you? No offense to him, but it's like, yeah, you were helping put on this thing. But, I asked him straight up. I go, are you going to cover the bill if this thing doesn't make any money? Oh, it's going to make money. It's going to make money. Yeah, but put your money where your mouth is if you're saying that. You know what I'm saying? So I looked at this like a professional. I thought, and I was like, hey, I think I want to postpone this. And then that dude went on the internet and was like, I'm pulling myself out of the show. So at that point, I was like, fuck it. We already had another promotion announce a date to run the same day, a month and a half after I announced my date, the local promotion, which there went my ring rental, because the ring rental guy who agreed with me at the beginning of August pulled out in the middle of September when that other promotion announced their show. And there was a couple guys that, that other promotion tried to get that we had booked. They were like, oh, well, if you don't work for us, then you just don't give a shit about us. And so there was a number of shit. And I was like, you know what? Like, fuck it. Yeah. Fuck Detroit. I'm not going to put all this effort into something if it's going to lose money, first of all, or if there's going to be all these hiccups, like, why am I going to travel out to cold ass Detroit if I got the local promotion trying to fucking split the local audience like a bunch of assholes a month and a half after I fucking announced the show? Why is the local promoter getting all butthurt and being like, oh, I'm pulling out of the event? Like, hey, man. Like,
yeah. There is
how amateur and immature was that shit?
There is like the Michigan crowd is fickle, right? And I do agree that it was stale as fuck for the other promotion to announce a date going up against
yours.
But that's
here's what it did. Now I ain't running Theater Brutality in fucking Detroit. And let me tell you this. I can't give out the dates, but XPW is debuting in 4 new cities in between now and July of next year, and Detroit is not on that list, and Detroit probably ain't never going to be on that list. You know why? Because we all know, me, Mickey, Necro, we all fucking know that Detroit is a goddamn cesspool, and it's not any of y'all's fault. It's not any of y'all's fault. It's one person's fault. It's a conniving, backstabbing, loudmouth fucking cunt. And we all know who I'm talking about. And I'm not going to give that person the light of day to even say that person's fucking name.
No, I've said this before, but Ron, you and I both are in that person's fan club. So
it ain't even like that. Like I seriously, like, I know it may sound like I'm fucking pissed off. And sure, when anybody ever asks me, I'm going to tell them what I fucking think. But I'll let that bitch, any of them bitches, fucking live in my head rent free. I don't care less.
I don't go to the shows, so I hope that says all it needs. It has nothing against the talent at all. Nothing against the talent.
The toxicity of the local, and here's the other thing too, dude. There's 4 or 5 other promotions that run here in San Diego. Do you know who my competition is? Me, motherfucker. I'm the only one out here making money. I'm the only one make it look like a business. I don't participate in that toxic fucking because they're all just arguing over the same fucking 25 internet dork fans that go shift from one show to the fucking other, so they can have their little fucking fun party time. They can suck my goddamn dick. I'd love.
But you know what sucks though, because what it comes back down to is I'm a fan of wrestling and I love wrestling, and I don't want to be mad about this or that or the behind the scenes crap. Like Francis knows this. I peeked my head behind the curtain and fucking didn't like any of the shit that I saw. And like our 5th episode, I was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore, man. I was like, I'm kind of like bummed out by the way that things are. Like, people aren't how I thought they would be. But that being said, I've met there are some people that I feel like I'm going to end up being like lifelong friends with since we started doing the podcast. You know what I mean? I've met some really great people, but I've also met a handful of awful scumbags.
And it's the fans that suffer for it, right? Because I know, like we've been saying, we had we had Cat Martini on, Jasmine Sinclair. Every time we had all we do is tell them like Detroit.
Beg them to come to Detroit. The factors of XPW not coming to Detroit are not in the fans. Like we want to support the product. I love XPW, and I've been carrying the banner for XPW since XPW came back.
He has been for sure.
It's unfortunate, but this same
I understand it.
The same dirtbag promoter that we're all talking about right now, has been supportive of other promotions coming to town that don't really run that town. So I don't need to hear no nonsense from anybody on that side of the fucking fence here. They're like, oh, well, like we just Like, I like to hear what the fucking excuse for, oh, yeah, well, we announced a show a month and a half after them on the same fucking date. Like,
Yeah,
all right,
everybody knows it's petty bullshit.
so petty. So petty. And why is there pettiness there? Because that fat cunt fucking booked the day that I came back for XPW, the day that fat fucking cunt, Java the slut, fucking hit me up on Facebook Messenger and was like, yo, we'd love to have you back in Detroit. Come this day and this day. And I was like, all right, blah, 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 blah. I booked other shows around it. So that was like in the middle of a loop. And then that fucking fat cunt one trying to give me no money for the goddamn flight that she told me to buy. And then canceled me on top of that shit. Why? Because John Wayne Murdoch cried because Dirty Ron was going to be on the show. And I'm John Wayne Murdoch. I look like a fat titty boy talking about rich man over rich man, little punk ass bitch. Right? Thank God I'm on probation because there's two people on my fucking smack a bitch in the face list. John Wayne Murdoch and Whiny Danny DeManto. Both of them deserve that shit. So, whatever, man. Fuck that fat cunt. Fuck all three of them fat cunts.
Oh, Ron. The episode's turning out exactly how I thought it was going to turn out, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah. Well, what's the cunt count at? Are we over 21 cunts yet?
We're getting up there.
Dave's gonna add a cunt counter and put it in post.
Oh, you're making so much extra work for me already, Francis.
Hey, do you want a top-notch podcast or what, David?
So I got two things before I got one thing to bring up, that's just a little side note and stuff before we get into the Rushmore. Are you good with that, Francis?
Yeah.
Okay. Ron, I just have to tell you this little side story. My dad was a born again Christian. Okay.
Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Just like Shawn Michaels. He used to super kick everybody and, post for Playgirl. Like my dad and him walked the same path in life, But one time so being from Detroit, Francis and I are both fans of Insane Clown Posse,
Yeah.
I like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. The clowns have been in my life for one reason or another for a really long time. And I don't know why. But one time I was eating dinner with my family and I was talking about Insane Clown Posse. And my dad got very serious for a minute. And he was just like, I just don't like clowns. And I've never seen him talk like that, And I asked him, I was like, why don't you like clowns? And he was just like, they're smiling. But he's like, they don't mean it. And he got really stoic about it and stuff. And it's just, my dad's terrified of clowns. So I just wanted to tell you that.
Do you want me to make him a fucking little like cameo for his birthday or some shit?
He's deceased, so that would be double, triple weird.
Oh well, I mean, I could send it straight up to hell or wherever he's at.
Oh, Ron, you fucking cocksucker! God.
No, yep. I mean, where's he at? Do you think he's in heaven or he's hanging out or?
I think let's say he's hanging out. I don't know. I can't pull the trigger.
Right.
He's just
Sorry,
hanging out.
Dad. Sorry, Dad.
To get that cameo set up.
Yeah. Hey.
So what we're taking home from this is Ron's gonna do a fucking cameo for my deceased father. Awesome.
That is what.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Merry fucking Christmas, everybody. All right. So Ron, we're gonna get into one of the last segments. Okay. You've been a fan of wrestling for a really long time. Okay.
40 years.
You're a student of the game. All right. Let's talk the Mount Rushmore of deathmatch wrestling, okay?
Ooh.
I want to know not who you think should go on there, but who your favorites are. The core four, the most important people that when you look at their body of work, like everybody else is just imitating them. You know what I mean?
I mean, like, man.
And I'll give you 5 if you really have to have it, but I really only want 4 out of you. No, everybody just like that last. They get to that last one, and they're like, "No, I can't say him." And
I mean, you know me, I follow all the rules. So let's see. Deathmatch wrestling, my favorite Mount Rushmore. I guess. I mean, when you think deathmatch wrestling, the innovators of this shit. I mean, like Onita's on there. Onita's got to be on there.
Okay.
You know, what he did with stadium exploding barbed wire matches, and what he did with all the, like, what I really do appreciate, because my promotion is called Fist Combat. We don't even have wrestling in the name at all.
Okay.
I appreciate the name of his promotion, FMW, Frontier Martial Arts, or what is it? Yeah, Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling, right? Because you know, when I talked to Sabu about, well, why did they let him use weapons and shit? He goes, well, because it's martial arts. It's like in a martial arts you can use weapons. And I was like, oh shit, that makes sense. You know, like why you got fucking, you know, Mr. Pogo coming out with a fucking sickle and shit? You know, like why are they allowed to do that shit? So what Onita did for deathmatch wrestling, he's got to be on there.
Okay.
I mean, as far as what has gone, you know, Mick Foley's got to be on there without a doubt. You know, like and you know, because I feel like, you know, that I really watch this shit and I see who like, because the way that you're saying it, Mount Rushmore is like, who's everybody imitating, right? You know?
Sure. Well, or whose work is just the most important, I guess. Laying the framework for everybody else.
You know, okay, so Onita, Mick Foley, you know, I don't know, man. It's tough to say. Like, you know, like some people I think would say Terry Funk, but it's like, you know, he came in so late in the game that, like, I don't know, you know, like he was a different breed. So okay, so we got Onita, we got Mick Foley, not Terry Funk on there.
Okay.
Who's like you know, I mean, just because we're being inclusive, I'm gonna put a woman in there.
Sure.
I mean, Mickey Knuckles is the cornerstone of women's deathmatch wrestling, and because of that, has a spot on my Mount Rushmore. And then honestly, this last one, it's not a kiss ass answer. It's truthful, and just because of what I see, it could be. And I'm gonna say Schlack, and here's why. I think Schlack brings a totally new vibe.
Oh yeah,
to deathmatch wrestling. He's a true horror villain. I think that. Yeah. You know, I know I've said this to him a bunch of times, and like I've written a couple movies where I was like, Schlack's got a fucking role in this shit. Where like he's a horror villain. You know, like when you look at Schlack and the way that he carries himself, you know, just the history in his band and what he does now, you know, like, and you know, like look at Rob Black gave him all the balls and told him to run to the end zone. So
right,
you know, I think Schlack carries XPW on his shoulders, you know, with the help of guys like, you know, Mega Butcher and fucking Masada and Big Joe, you know, and a couple of other of us that are around.
And yourself, you know. You got to give yourself a little bit of credit, man.
Nah, you know, I've been on the bounce back. I'm just talking about the guys that have, you know, really carried the top-notch matches. Eric Ryan, you know, always is a great addition to the roster when he's around. So, you know, if I'm going people that I admire, it's like that because, you know, obviously Onita because of exploding, Mick Foley because of what he did for American Deathmatch Wrestling, Mickey Knuckles, you know, one of the best to ever do it, no matter what she has between her legs, and Schlack. You know, I think that because like remember, I'm all about what translates, what's palatable to the average person. And when you look at Schlack, you're like, when any person looks at Schlack, they go, "That's the motherfucker right there."
Yeah.
And he brings it, and he brings it every fucking time. Like, look at pictures from Schlack like 4 or 5 years ago. Like, you know, he's in good shape. You know what I'm saying? But look at Schlack now. Schlack is like a fucking champion, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Francis, the first time we saw Schlack wrestle in Detroit, who did he fucking wrestle? That big, huge Viking guy. And Schlack like literally overwhelmed him and beat the fuck out of him. Me and you just watched that whole match like It was our first time seeing Schlack. Like when he came out, there was this little kid, like he must have been like 9, headbanging at the entrance ramp. Just the whole thing was surreal as fuck. But
Yeah,
what a moment,
that's the way I always kind of say it, and not to like just obviously he deserves all the credit, but it's like when I think of a death match wrestler, I think of like Schlack. That image, the big monster, don't give a fuck. I'm coming to the ring to fucking wreck shit.
You might be able to beat him, but he'll totally be back. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like Schlack. Like I don't know, man.
If you look at Schlack is somebody that if I was completely just a fan, and when I'm able to step back and watch it as a fan, I watch it in awe because I'm like, that looks like a guy that would rip your fucking arms off.
Yeah,
and start eating it like a goddamn turkey leg. You know what I'm saying? Like he puts that fear that. When you look at him, and I think some people to a very lesser extent get that vibe with me, but it's that realism. It's that, is this dude as crazy as he puts it on? I mean, like, and when you're able to do that, when you're able to make an impression on people, like they're like anybody that goes to their, a show and Schlack's on it, how are they not walking away like that was top 3 dude on the show for sure, if not number 1 every time, 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, that's what, like, and we talked about that, and we say it, and I'll continue to say it, is that he's like a legit like just monster in that realm. Like there's very you got your hybrid guys that, as Rob Blackley said, like do their flippy shit, and like but it's like there's just pure fuck shit upness whenever Schlack hits the ring. It's going to be fucking. He's going to bring the energy.
It's not the most safe. It's not the most fucking PC, but I tell you what, like it's one of my favorite matches I ever had because, like, not trying to pull the curtain back too much, but we didn't really go in there with any idea, and we just fucking like, I remember at one point, he's fucking like, I'm in the corner, right? He's just fucking punching me in the head, and I was like, is that all you got, you fucking pussy? Is that all you fucking got? And like. I could feel him giving it a little more. And I remember after the match, I was like, how'd you like that shit, motherfucker? He goes, you're crazy, Ron. You fucking crazy. Like, and to be able to go out there and mix it up with the dude like that, like one of my favorite matches. And you know what? Schlack, I'm telling you this right now. I know you're listening to this shit. I'm fucking coming for them titles. It's been 2 goddamn years. Okay. Been 2 fucking years almost since I had my shot at you. Okay. I was the first person that you beat on the way to win that shit that night. And I'm pretty sure you haven't fucking lost since. So, you know what? Let's go back. Let's run it back. Fuck Eric Ryan. Fuck Dredd. Fuck all them motherfuckers. Tell them get the back in line because the line starts behind me. God damn it.
Wow. Oh. God damn. Ron, can you still appreciate wrestling when you're not wrestling? Just out of curiosity?
It's hard. I got to go back to what I like. It's like I listen to the same music that I listened to 15, 20 years ago. Me too. I watch the same shit that I used to watch, and really I don't watch I don't watch any of the new shit that's going on. Like if there's an event and I happen to not be doing anything and I remember for some reason, I'm like, oh, a nice Fago, by the way.
Yeah, man.
I'll illegally stream it or whatever. I like to kind of keep up on what's going on, but like, it's WWE's made for kids. AEW ain't made for me. Well,
it's your safe space. Is it like, honest to God, my safe space is roughly WCW 89.
If I'm watching wrestling, I'm watching for a purpose. And like, there's different periods of different eras that I like for a different reason. So, just like whatever I'm kind of feeling, because like if I, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, it was like getting way overwhelming. It was like, there's so much shit going on.
Oh, I know, man. There was a because I used to follow WWF, and like if you do, you got to follow every single brand, and then plus I follow all the indies, then all the death match. Then wrestling in Mexico, I follow AAA. I fucking follow. I was following New Japan, but I ended up watching wrestling like 7 days a week, and it's like I don't even like it anymore.
Yeah, at that point you're like almost a historian.
Yeah, right.
It's like, oh, I'm watching it because I have to, so I know historically what fucking happened on this shit.
Well, Ron, we're officially at the end.
Towards
so
the
you
end.
know what it is.
There's still
Present-
we still have
Oh,
one
wait,
thing.
wait. Oh, sorry. Francis?
Yeah. No. I keep track of the Mount Rush. I just want to side note this. I keep track of the Mount Rushmore on a separate spreadsheet. We ask everybody, and it just so happened to be while we have done maybe like 80 episodes, but some of them repeat, some of them. You were the 69th person that we've asked that question to.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
69.
Yeah. Get it in.
But I just found that funny because it's just on my spreadsheet it says Dirty Ron, and then right next to it says 69, and then your answer. So
Fuck yeah,
it's kind of funny.
Wow, I really appreciate that you stopped everything for that, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, I had to because I was like, this got to be mentioned.
This is me making a 69. Ass and shit. Okay.
But no, we've asked everybody this. You've been in the wrestling business for roughly how many years?
My first match was in summer of 2001. So
okay. So if you can go back to the day of that very first match, knowing everything you know now, and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Have more confidence in yourself, and you would have got a contract 20 years ago, you schmuck. Yeah. Have more confidence in yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because what I've found is that I don't want to suck my own dick, so I'll put other people over that have a similar skill. Look at Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather, the Paul brothers. Muhammad Ali, up and down the list. These are all people that had the gift of gab.
Yeah, man.
In this day and age, that I think that, nobody has it because they're not coached. They're not influenced to do that kind of shit. They're handed what they are, they're handed their script basically. So I think that skill that I've been able to hone over the last 20 years as a person, once it started flowing over into my wrestling life, that I really saw that it was something special. It's cool because even now still, when I go out on the town, there's 2, 3, 4, 5 people that'll come up to me tonight and be like, "Oh my God, Dirty Ron, I remember when you did this thing." And there's nothing cooler than that, But I think that if I would have had confidence in myself to think that I actually deserved to kind of be at the table a little bit, that, I would have found success, because the things that have given me any success in life is when I blindly believed in myself. And when I made goals and, was confident and, and really believed in myself. So, I know I already said that, but, if I would have been able to do that, or if I would have had, some good encouragement, then, but hey, everything happens for a reason,
I was just gonna say, I'm a firm believer that you get what you need when you need it. And perhaps you weren't, emotionally, spiritually ready to appreciate what you have, but I'm sure you appreciate it now. You're such a nice guy, Ron. I cannot believe how nice of a guy you are. Fuck you too, dude.
And with that, we are in Christmas, and I think David sent something to Ron. Yeah. Is that how we're closing out this?
Yes. Ron,
okay, so I got this fucking stocking here, right? And it's got some things in it.
This is so awesome.
I'm gonna pull. Hold on, let me see. Okay, hold on. Virtual background, none. All right. I'm gonna do that just so we make sure that
all good.
All right, so you got me a Rudolph chocolate, and it says on the back here, "This is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer for Ronnie the redheaded shithead." Why did you have to call me a shithead?
That's aggressive.
Very aggressive.
Yeah, wow.
Okay, let's see what else.
I didn't know that was in there.
I know. Dog shit bags. What are you trying to tell me here? You got me a roll of dog shit bags.
Did we send this? Like, okay.
Yeah.
Chris, I didn't get a chance to tell you earlier. I'm sorry, dude.
Hold on. Let's see what else.
What
is this? What is this? French fry hat. What does that say? Wick Arnold's. Did you have this custom made? Did you have this custom made? The fuck is going on here? All right, there's one more thing in here.
Let's see. What is that?
Hold on. No way. You got me a crack pipe?
Merry Christmas, Ron.
Dude, you got me a like, hey man, no, hey, fuck all this shit. I've heard that you guys think I'm some fucking crackhead clown piece of shit because you heard from that fucking cunt that isn't even a real judge, Judge Joe. I heard that he was telling people but you know what? I really do appreciate it because I do be smoking crack. So I think this is the best Christmas present anybody's ever got me, and hope, I would smoke crack here right now because I know this is the series finale right here on whatever fucking shit ass platform before you guys go to IWTV. So I don't know if you guys want to get canceled all the way, but
no, not all the way. Just partially.
I'll keep this crack pipe in here and I won't smoke crack live on the Spooky Dust podcast. I'm still riding high off that spooky dust I did at the top of this fucking episode.
Yeah, you did open this pretty high.
Ron! Dude, you are so fucking awesome. Ron, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I hope you can handle hearing this. I'm such a fan of your work. You're awesome. I love everything that you're doing. I'm so happy that you're in XPW right now. I think it's where you belong. I hope nothing but good things for you in the new year.
Thank you. It's been a rough year, but finally bouncing back. Got a lot of great things planned for next year. So,
I gotta say it again. You're so resilient, and you're the way that you're just determined to not accept you get knocked down from the hill and you keep climbing back up. I love it, man. I really appreciate it.
Isn't that what we're all supposed to do? I mean, like, the internet's not a real fucking place.
No, it isn't. And you forget that from time to time,
And cancel culture is only real if you believe in it, like Santa Claus and herpes, so.
For sure.
Oh, who canceled me? Some fucking fat slob who couldn't even see her own cunt with two different mirrors. Okay. John Wayne Murdoch canceled me. Like, suck my fucking dick. Okay. None of these guys paid my bills. None of these guys fucking opinion matters to me. And you know what? Just because people think that they can get on the internet and have an opinion doesn't mean I got to fucking listen to it. So anybody that's out there, you know what? Why don't you have a little bit more fucking common courtesy? And if you're going to hear one side of the story, make sure you hear two sides of the story, because the honest to God truth is, you got one side, you got another side, and the truth is always somewhere in the fucking middle, So, right. Anybody out there who is a hater on Dirty Ron McDonald, take a look in the fucking mirror, because all the people that talk shit about me have one thing in common. They ain't doing shit. Add them all up. Okay. The people that are fucking trying to bring somebody down are already below them. And I don't look at people like that. I don't look at there's different levels of this shit, but there's different vibrations. I'm in a different vibration. These motherfuckers are trying to pull somebody down. They're on lower vibrations. There's people that I don't want to know in my life. And they can fucking sit on the internet and get on a little message board or whatever the fucking groups and shit and talk all their shit and suck each other's dicks and go hang out at whiny Demanto's fucking shows. But they can all fucking blow me, all right, from the back. Put your nose in my asshole and suck my dick from the backside.
Ron, where are people going to find you if they want to get a hold of you? Are you an Instagram guy? You a Facebook guy? At Dirty Ron? Dirty Ron.
Dirty Ron. Yeah. I'm trying.
That's at Instagram and Facebook?
Yeah, I think I still have Facebook. What is this, fucking 2008? No, I'm definitely on Instagram. I got my YouTube page too. A lot of shit will be going back up there. I'm starting to get a lot of good interviews for my Wrestling with Decisions podcast. It'll be coming back. I think I put like 10 of them out earlier this year, and it didn't really catch. I got like 8 episodes of Sabu I haven't put out yet. So, I'm gonna get back to that. It's been a tumultuous year to say the least, but finally bouncing back, finally fucking putting all this shit together.
I love it, Ron. You're so fucking awesome. Again, you're such a I'm such a fan of yours. I can't wait to see what the new year holds. Our show basically is like a school bus crashing into a wall. We don't have like an ending. There's just like a fiery explosion, and that's it.
Yeah, we just stop. So
yeah, so we just stop. So we're just gonna stop, but don't go anywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody do the and then the bus crashes. And then
All
right.
Here's it. We're off this platform. This platform can suck a dick. I'm gonna smoke this crack for real. You better stop.